Today I wanted to start with a verse that I don't remember. I read it, and as I was coming, I read the verse. I remember the meaning of the verse, but the actual specific words I don't remember. I had already memorized it in the past, but the things that we learn and we don't repeat, one lose. We forget. But it's a verse that is found at the beginning of a text called Uma Chupa in Tibetan, written by Chandrakirti. And in Tibetan, in Buddhist teachings, as generations go by, what was explained in one context, at a certain point, it's not able to transmit that same meaning, and so it needs to be then it needs to be looked at again. With the sutras of Buddhas, with Buddha's sutras, with very little, he was able to say so much. And then after just a few centuries later, that those same words didn't have that same impact. Some sutras are easier to understand than others, but there are few, at least within the Tibetan Buddhist community, there are very few who actually read the original sutras, because over time the words can actually lose meaning. So at a certain point, what happened is um, the 8 important masters arrived in India. The 2 excellent ones, the 2 ornaments, the 6 ornaments and the 2 excellent ones. Nagarjuna and Asanga are the excellent ones, and the other ones like Vasubandhu, etc. They commented Buddha's sutras, and I can't say translated, but they commented, saying, Buddha said this, but what he meant was this, that, and the other. For example, if we took this verse that we recite at the beginning, in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, I take refuge until enlightenment with the practice of generosity and the other perfections. May I obtain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. It seems simple. But to really understand this verse, we have to understand what a Buddha is, understand what Dharma is, what is Sangha, what does it mean to take refuge, what is enlightenment, what is generosity, and what are the other perfections, and what do we mean? What do we mean for the benefit of other beings? What is a being? I mean, we could talk about this verse for years. So, from the sutras of Buddha, in the tradition, the Mahayana tradition, the one that we follow, and all the Buddhist teachings, the main text of the great reference point is the Sutra of the Perfection of Wisdom that Buddha explained mostly in three versions. I don't know why I'm explaining all this, but anyway, there are 3 versions of this text. There's the brief one in 8,000 verses, the middle one, which is 20,000, and then there's a long one in 100,000 verses, and then there's extremely brief one, which is just a couple of pages, and that's the Heart Sutra. So the main reference, the main reference has these three versions. The one in 10,000 verses, for example, 8,000 verses, there is a translation in English, but I welcome you to try to read that. And so we entrust ourselves into those who had greater capabilities and knowledge, and so those who had the knowledge, the background, and knew also the times that they were living in, they made these commentaries. So there's one main commentary by Nagarjuna and one by a Sangha. he wrote many texts, also Nagarjuna too. Nagarjuna talks about the correct view of reality, and Asanga talks about generosity, morality, love, this graduated path towards enlightenment. And from here in Buddhism, the two the the two lineages were born, the two schools. In the Mahayana tradition, there's the profound view and the extended view. So Nagarjuna commented on the heart on the Heart Sutra, or the perfection of wisdom, and then another master, another important master, Chandrakirti, who commented the commentary of Nagarjuna, and he wrote Umajjupa, which is entering into the middle way, and is also difficult to understand. And in our tradition, Lama Tsongkhapa actually comments the text of Chandrakirti in his text, clarifying the middle way. And I had the great opportunity to read it, to study it. All of this to say that the teachings, when they come to us, they have this way of transmitting. They start from Buddha, and then afterwards, the masters who had a good level of practice and understanding, they say Buddha meant this and that, and they comment and they explain, and then a few centuries go by and the meaning is lost. Someone else comes and comments that commentary. So what started as a very short text becomes greater and greater and greater to match the lack of understanding and knowledge of those who came later. What took just a few words to explain at the time of Buddha, now we need much more to understand. And now I'm just going to close this introduction and get to the verse. Is that something that to say that I'm worried is not right, but I have a healthy level of worry where we need to concern ourselves about. I mean, how much do we need for knowledge to be lost? It's just one generation. And what's interesting is what do we need for something to be maintained? It's just one person, that one person who keeps that knowledge and has the ability to hand down that knowledge. And Buddhism has a very practical part that adapts to our everyday life. There's a part that's simple, like meditation, that has to do with meditation practices, the mantras, etc. But at the same time, to deepen our knowledge of philosophy and also the tantric path, there is so much to study. There is so much to deepen. It's not something that in a short time one could understand. They tried in Varanasi. They made a Buddhist university, and they took all of the philosophy studies, where normally one needs 18 to 20 academic years, and they transformed that into 7 or 9 years. This is what's the problem? Studying in 7, 8, 9 years, what the others take 20, 25 years to study. There's a different level of understanding. I mean, one thing is the amount of time it takes to actually to concede that information, and something else is the time it takes to digest, to understand, to develop one's understanding. So in these great monasteries of the past, they set up a kind of, let's say, curriculum, so that the people, the monks, could actually actually deepen their understanding. So now we're in a phase of Buddhism. Um, Buddhism is very new, and so our level of understanding is quite superficial. And there are not many of us who can completely stop their lives and dedicate themselves completely to Buddhism. And those who have that possibility, that maybe they don't even know where to start from. It's another language, it's another culture. So I think it's more important to uphold those who dedicate their lives to this knowledge, so that at least as the generations go by and as Buddhism deepens its roots in the West, that there there's still those who still have all of this knowledge. In India and Tibet, there are those who spend those 25 years studying. And I think it's important that we all support those who keep studying like this. The problem that happens often is those who studied like that, it's a marvelous opportunity, but it's not that they live in the past century. They live like many centuries in the past, and when they need to apply it to today's life and our mentality, often they don't know where to begin. Those who spent decades in a structure and then to try to repackage what they've learned and apply it is not easy. So we're in this phase of this passage. I try my best to share with you my understanding, trying to do it, thinking about what can be beneficial to those who listen, more than wanting to explain Buddhist philosophy in an academic way, the way I studied it. In having said all of this, let's get back to the starting point. There's this verse, and it's very beautiful, that says that makes praise to all great texts start with a praise. It's classic. They start by making praise, and in this case, Chandrakirti makes praise to compassion. Compassion. In reality, love and compassion are two manifestations of the same. And he says, love and compassion, it's like water. It's fundamental at the beginning, during, and at the end. It's like a seed that has its potential within, and what allows it's that potential to what allows that seed to germinate is water. And it's water still that allows that sprout to become a tree. And then that's that same water that allows that tree to grow. And once the tree has grown, what keeps that tree alive and what allows that tree to give fruit? Water. So water is fundamental at the beginning to sprout seed, during that growth to help a sprout turn into a tree, and then also in the moment of the result, so that the tree can give fruit. And similarly, our spiritual path, love and compassion, they are fundamental at the beginning, because it's love that allows the seed of our own potential to germinate, to sprout. It's love that allows that sprout of our spiritual growth to grow, and it accompanies us along the path. It's the strength that allows us to walk along the path, love towards ourselves and love towards others. This is the strength that allows us to walk on our spiritual path. And once one reaches the so-called Buddhahood, it's love that it's love that pushes us to, as Buddhas, to work for the benefit of all beings. It's what gives us the strength to allow us to walk. even at the whether we're at the beginning or along the path, or whether we're at the end of the path. But what is it? What is this? What is this thing that is so important? Let's try to understand it a little bit better. Then we have a little problem. When we talk about Buddhism, it comes out. It's the terminology, the words that we use, because one word is nothing other than sounds that represent words. It's a meaning. It's a convention. But what happens is, as the centuries go by and the cultural context change, then the words change meaning. So when we take a feeling, it's very important that that feeling of love and compassion in our context, in our cultural context, and the time in which we live, the time in which we live and the time that Buddha lived, they're two different cultural contexts. So let's not take for granted what we mean by love and compassion. So if we start with our own understanding, and I walked up to someone on the road, and I just walked up to someone and I said, "I love you," what would the reaction be? What do you want from me? Yeah, it depends on where you say it to and to whom you say it. I have compassion for you. It seems as if I'm feeling superior. I'm looking down on you. The word love, from the little that I've been able to deepen, I've looked in some dictionaries and I've looked at the etymology, and some define it as so to love, amare in Italian, comes from the Sanskrit word kama, kamare, amare. The same thing in English, love, comes originally from lupya, from Sanskrit, lupya. Kama in Sanskrit means passionate desire. Maybe you've heard of Kama Sutra, for example. Kama means passionate desire. So if I say I love you, it means that I have passionate desire for you. And what does that mean? I have a strong attraction, physical attraction, mental, or rather, I need you to be happy. Have you ever heard someone say, or have you ever said, "I love chocolate"? I mean, think about something you like. I mean, we can say, "I love chocolate," right? But if I love chocolate, does that mean that I want chocolate to be happy? What am I saying? I'm saying that when I have chocolate, I feel good. And I like eating chocolate, or at least having it nearby. I love chocolate because I feel good when I have chocolate. And if it's dark chocolate, even better. But without getting into the details of aspects of chocolate, I stopped eating chocolate. It's not very good for me. What happens is, when I say I love chocolate, I'm using the word love in a context of passionate desire, or rather, I love this person, that object, that thing. And what do I mean by this? That I project my happiness onto that person. I am happy when I have this or that. I love you. I'm happy when I'm with you. This is one concept of love that comes from the original word kama in Sanskrit. Compassion. There are two etymologies that I found. One is similar to Buddhism and one is quite different. One says is to share. One is about like sharing the passion. So you suffer for the suffering of someone else, and then the other is seeing is seeing the suffering of someone else. And in Buddhism, it's something even something else. If we think that love is passionate desire, that I desire this, and we use love mostly like this, don't we? And compassion means I see your suffering, I see your weakness, I suffer for you, and somehow I'm putting myself in a superior position. Maybe not necessarily, but that idea could come to us. That let's try to understand the words in Tibetan, Champa and Ninche, that come from Maitri and Karuna in Sanskrit. So starting from the root in Sanskrit, there's Kama, which is this passionate desire, and there's another word, Maitri, which means to be attracted to the happiness of others. So the concept of love is being attracted, desiring happiness. So I love myself. I desire my own happiness. I love you. I desire your own happiness. Maybe I don't like being with you, and maybe when I'm with you, I don't feel good. I don't like you. You're not. I don't like being with you, but that doesn't take away the fact that I want you to be happy. So it's not because I love you. I want understood as I want you to be happy. And when I talk about this is really hard for me to talk about because that word love is just not right, but I can't find an alternative. And I've seen in different traditions, modern Buddhist traditions, they've used different translations like kind, lovingness, different terms, but I just don't like them. At the end of the day, I prefer try to redefine the word love. So Maitri is I'm attracted to your happiness. It's your happiness important to me. This is what we mean by love, by Maitri. Champa in Tibetan. So when we talk about the feeling that is at the basis of the path, like water, is desiring the happiness. It's not projecting one's happiness onto someone else. Is that difference clear? They're two very, very different worlds. Compassion is not understanding Ningje in Tibetan. Ningje in Tibetan. The word is made up from karuna. Ning means essence, heart. Je means like the head of everything. So it's the most precious of feelings is what you have that you have in your heart. Where here I have aversion to suffering. Love and compassion go completely together. Where there's love, I mean, I love you, it means I have attraction to your happiness and I want you to be happy. I have compassion for you, which means I don't want you to suffer. So I'm attracted to your happiness and I have aversion to your suffering. They're two manifestations of the same feeling. It's not possible to desire someone's happiness and desire that they suffer at the same time. So if I want you to be happy, then naturally I desire that you don't suffer. And if I desire you not to suffer, then automatically I want your happiness. So they're in essence the same thing, even if they're two different modes of of being, of feeling. So compassion doesn't mean that I'm better than you. It doesn't mean that I'm in a better situation than you are. And it doesn't mean that I should suffer for your suffering. It means I see your suffering. I'm not indifferent to your suffering, and I strongly desire that you not suffer. This is compassion, and love means I'm not indifferent to you. I see you, and I desire your happiness. Both for love and also for compassion, there are two types. There's simple love and the great love. And there's also passive love and what I call active love. Passive love can be simply called love or compassion, and the other is laksa in Tibetan, translated as supreme or superior intention. I prefer instead passive love and active love, but passive love is sincere. I see you, and I want you to be happy. Really, I want you to be happy. It's important to me, but I'm not even able to make myself happy. How can I help you? I really don't want you to suffer. I have compassion for you, but I'm not able to get out of my own suffering. So how can I help you? So I have this feeling of impotence. And so I don't put myself in a situation to do something for you because I don't feel like I can. Has it ever happened? Have it ever happened that you've seen someone who's not well and you want to help, but you don't even know where to begin? At a certain point, it's almost like someone gives up a little bit. I would love for you to be better, but I don't know where to begin. So it stays there as an aspiration, but not translated into action. Instead, active love, or laksam, this supreme intention, is not only do I put myself in a situation where I say, I love you, I have compassion for you, I desire deeply your happiness, and I don't want you to suffer, but I take the responsibility to do everything I can to make that happen, not to make you happy or to take away your suffering, because I'm not Superman or Wonder Woman. Not even a Buddha is able to do that. But I take a commitment where I put my resources, I make my resources available so that I can help you to the best of my ability. So a sincere intention becomes an action in that direction. So one thing is, I love you, but I take my road, you take yours. And another thing is, I love you, and your happiness is as important to me as my own, and I'll do everything I can so that you are happy. I put my life at your disposal for your happiness, to help you realize your happiness. And then we have small love and great love, and small compassion and great compassion. The small love is love translated also like limited love and unlimited love. And the small love is limited by our own obsession with self-gratification. And small love is where I love those who do good to me. I'm not so selfish. I'm not selfish to the point where I don't love even those who are good to me. I mean, that could happen too. I could say, oh, you do good for me, and so I'm attracted to you because you do good for me, but maybe I don't even care about your happiness. So here I go just one step beyond. Okay, I have attraction for you. You help me. You're good to me. And at the same time, I feel something. I want you to be well. I want you to be happy. But what's that limit of that limited love, that small love? Is the day that you no longer do good by me. And I think that you actually hurt me. Do I love you the way I loved you before, or has something changed? Hope not, but probably something small would change. Because it's a love where we see the other through this filter of our obsession for self-gratification and our needs of the I and the my. And this is the most common type. Then there's the great love, unlimited love. It's an idealized love. It's a dream. It's a utopia also, but it's the direction to follow. It's love where one is able to see someone else and desire the happiness of the other beyond the I and the my. It's unlimited because it's not limited by the I and the my. It means I love you independently of what you have done to me or not, or whether you're nice or you're unfriendly. I love you just the same. There's a verse in the Bodhisattva Charavatara by Shantideva, beautiful text, in the chapter of concentration, if I remember well, and I don't remember the specific words, but the verse says, if other beings, whoever they are, desire happiness as much as you, what is so special about you so that makes your happiness more important than theirs? If other beings desire to not suffer the way you desire to not suffer, what's so special about you that your desire to not suffer is more important than theirs? There's no what the only answer would be is that it's my happiness and my suffering, and then at that point we say all all each man for himself. So but why is my happiness more important than yours? Why is my suffering more important than yours? There's no answer, consistent answer. When one goes beyond this limit and is able to see that the happiness of every being has the same value, the suffering of every being has the same value, and suffering by its own nature should be eliminated, and happiness by its own nature should be increased, no matter whose it is. And it has nothing to do with who deserves it, and he's bad and he deserves to suffer. Why? Sorry. If someone is evil, and at a certain point, if he is fine, if someone is bad and then feels good, those who feel well, they at peace with himself, then naturally is at peace with others and will do less harm. Those who act with violence and aggression is because they're not well. Anyway, what happens is that this is love and compassion. Small love, great love, passive love, active love. Is that clear? Something important is this process of development of it's a gradual process. It's not all or nothing. We start with intention, with a little bit of intention, and then little by little we go one to the next. It's not totally immediate. Also because what's when we go from a passive love, when we go passive love to an active love in a healthier, unhealthy way. So if it's unhealthy, we say like, I want you to be happy, but my way. So I'll do everything to make you happy, but in the end, I'm angry with you because you're not happy. How is it possible? How is it possible? Everything I've done, and you keep suffering. Everything that, all the patience, everything I've done for you, all the patience that I've shown you, what are you doing for me? Have you ever seen something like this or seen someone? This is unhealthy to have this idea. Because if I really love you, and I want to interact with you, but the first question is, what do you need? How can I interact with you to help you? Because we're two different people. We have similar, but different ideas. I can't impose on you what I think. And in developing an active love, the hardest part is our feeling of not being capable. I mean, how many times have we found ourselves with someone close to us, someone for whom we felt a sincere feeling of love and compassion, and also mixed with attachment, because it's not easy to have 100% pure feelings for someone. But how often have we found ourselves in a situation with love, compassion mixed a little bit with attachment, and at a certain point we've felt a strong feeling of not being able to help, not knowing how to help. I see this between parents and children. So, and also parents to children, and also children to parents, through among friends, from between partners, where we see someone close to us who's suffering, and we don't know where to start. The danger here, this feeling of impotence, is that one could say, okay, I've tried so many things, I'm not able to help you. I'm just going to give up, so that I don't suffer in an unhealthy way, because I suffer by seeing the suffering of someone else. But often it's not because one actually sees the suffering of someone else, but actually one feels that one suffers because one feels impotent. Because if we're able to do something, even if someone is suffering, we feel gratified in being able to do something for someone else. So there's a moment where one says, oh, I'm just going to move away from this situation. I'm here, but you don't accept my help. And it gives this feeling of impotence that then can turn into moving away from that person. But to develop this active love is where we develop more and more trust in our own potential and our own abilities, with a deep patience and perseverance. We need time. I remember Lama Michel Rinpoche, there was this one emblematic moment. Someone had come to him, and I remember this scene I remember the exact same scene with this person, like 20 years prior, and then many times in between, and every time Lama Gangchen gave the same advice, and every time he gave, he gave this advice, it was as if he was giving it for giving it for the first time, and he he never said, "Oh, I've already told you, I've ever told you." And after 20 years, this person actually followed this advice. Then it's not that Rinpoche didn't say, I've been telling you this for years, or finally you understood. No, you know, he didn't say, yeah, I told you, I told you. Oh, he said, okay, that's this is the advice. Okay, this had a level of patience that was based on two characteristics, which is necessary for real love and compassion, to not go into frustration. Is humbleness and wisdom that go together. Humbleness is recognizing the limits of love and compassion. No matter how much I love you, I will never be able to make you happy. Never. Doesn't matter how much compassion I have for you, I will never be able to eliminate your suffering. The only thing that I can do is to use my body, my speech, my mind, to interact with you. That's what I can do. Offer my resources, material, physical resources, knowledge, feelings, affection. I can interact. Beyond that, I can't do any more. No more, no less. This is this sense of humbleness. That one shouldn't have this expectation or this idea that one could change the other. I've never met anyone who's been able to change someone. In Buddhist teachings say that if we put the power of all Buddhas put together, and on the other side we put karma, this law of interdependence and the law of interdependence and actions, so they're the same. All the Buddhas together do not outweigh the karmic force of someone. So who can make me happy? Myself. Who can eliminate my suffering? Myself. Other people can help me by interacting with me, because we need to start with the fundamental principle, which helps a lot, that wherever there's interaction, inevitably there will be transformation. This is a principle also in physics, in my very basic understanding. You can't have interaction, and through this interaction, those two parts cannot continue the same after an interaction. After interaction, there inevitably is transformation. So when I interact with you, I transform you, and you transform me, because it's never just one direction. So when I love you, I interact with you physically, verbally, mentally. And so I participate in your process of transformation. And once I interact with you, I'm transforming myself too. Even if you don't even know that I exist. Because let's remember that when there's an interaction between two parts, I mean, can that interaction just go in one direction? That one of the two parts stays indifferent? It's just not possible. When two entities meet, two selves or whatever it is, they both transform. This is clear, isn't it? So when I do something for you, I say nice things to you. I help you physically, or I have beautiful feelings towards you. I give you good advice or whatever it is, a positive towards you. I help you materially. I'm interacting with you. But you're not just receiving my interaction. I'm receiving yours. So we both transform in this process. So when we love someone, it's never in just one way. When I love you, just simply loving you, by simply loving you, I receive so much as well. For nothing other, at least, I mean, at the very least, I'm cultivating and feeling one of the most beautiful feelings I can feel. When we love, even without, just by loving, we're already receiving without the other having to do anything. Is that clear? But let's go back to that limit of love. It doesn't matter how much I love you. I can't make you happy. I can only interact with you. It doesn't matter how much compassion I have for you. I can't take away your suffering. I can only interact with you. And this requires a great level of humbleness. Because very often we want to make the other happy or take away the person's suffering or impose our view onto the other, impose our experiences onto someone else. This was good for me, and so it must be good for you. But who says that's true? I mean, and just a good example of this is medicine. I mean, why are there doctors? Because we're different. If we were all the same, then the same thing for everyone would work in the same way. Instead, we're different, and so we need people who are able to understand the symptoms that our bodies give. Because if I go into a pharmacy and the same substances can be medicine for someone and can be poison for someone else, right? Depending on my physical state of being. So what makes something beneficial is not its intrinsic value, but how it's going to interact with me. So when we talk about helping, or we need to adapt ourselves to other and not start from this position that this worked for me and it needs to work for you. So one should never think that everyone needs to be Buddhist. It's crazy. I am convinced that everyone should develop more wisdom, gratitude, stability, joy, lessen their resentment and anger and jealousy, etc. This, yes, because these are feelings in this shared human experience that are beneficial or harmful. And how we get there are many different ways, and these ways these adapt to the different mentalities of everyone. Buddha talks about needing to move from one side of a river to another. Everyone they have different ways to get across the river, by a raft, by a boat, floating. He says, and Buddha says, once you've moved from one side of the river to the next, to one bank of the river to the other bank of the river, don't be attached to your means of transport. So the method that we use to develop love and wisdom, it doesn't matter what it is. What's important is that it works, and we're different, and that's why we need different approaches. Buddha himself taught in different ways to different people. So it doesn't need to be the same for everyone. There's no prescription that's good for everyone. So also in helping others, it's about adapting ourselves and asking ourselves, what do you need? Without arriving with the arrogance of thinking, I know what you need. I need to adapt myself to your needs. And together with this, there's also the need to have wisdom to not become frustrated. So humbleness and also wisdom. Try to summarize here. When we see suffering that is obvious for us, normal that it's there, we've understood why and how this person is suffering, is it easier, or is it easier to see someone suffer without understanding why? For me, yes. In the sense that I see that you fell down, you hurt yourself, now I'm going to try to help you. But you have problems, and I don't know where they came from. If I feel like it's a kind of injustice, then that creates more suffering. This non-acceptance, it creates more suffering. Everyone is made differently, and we say we shouldn't, and we say that we should put ourselves in other people's shoes. But it's easy. It's easy to say that the shoe is nice and big and comfortable when we have small feet. You know? It's easy to say that these clothes fit well if I use my body and not yours. In Italian, we say, wear the other people's clothes. Imagine, imagine someone who's done something, or maybe someone even who has like positions that you don't share, or think of someone who does something that you don't think is correct. So we should ask ourselves, if we were in that position, would we do differently? And that first answer would be yes. I would never say that kind of thing. That thing, like that, I would never act like this. But now, if I were in that situation with the body of that person, having had the same education, been raised in that same social context, with the same traumas, the same karma, the same karmic forces, the same predispositions, the same genetics, etc. In other words, if I were that person, how different would I do? How different would I be? How very, very, very little. Just to say that we would be the same. We are the fruit. I mean, the way our way of thinking, of being, of doing, our body, our mind, our material world is the fruit of everything that we have lived up till now. Right? And when someone says, oh, you shouldn't be like this, what's our answer? I'm sorry, but this is the way I am. I don't know how to be different. Right? Is there somebody here who is able to be different than how they are? We try to be different. Okay, I agree. I'm lazy. I try not to be lazy. I get angry and I try not to get angry. You know, I just I have a world view where I exclude others, and instead let's try to include others and reach for a peaceful life. But I can't impose you today to be different than how you are, right? it's like saying this can't be like this. I mean, if it is, it's because it can. And if it couldn't, it wouldn't be. Right? So what happens is, I mean, the point is accepting this present moment, accepting others and saying, okay, you are like this because causes and conditions in your life, your choices, your experiences, all of it that have brought you gradually to be here today. I accept you for what you are, and I don't impose onto you an idealized image of what you should be. I propose I propose an idealized image of what I would like you to be, and I try to accompany you along this path. Is this difference clear? Because one thing is, I come to you and say, you shouldn't be like this. What would we say if someone came to us and said, you shouldn't be like this? I'm like this. I'm sorry. This is the way I am. And sometimes we're upset about it when someone says, we shouldn't be like this. Like a feeling of guilt or something that is just not going well in us. Instead, if someone comes to us and says, I accept you the way you are, but if you were, if you, how beautiful would it be if you were like this? I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna support you. I trust that you can do it, and I'm with you. I'm going to help you along this path. It's completely different. I remember once I got to Tibet. We got to Tibet, and I went to my master, the abbot of Tashi Lumpo, Tashi Lobsan. He had just come back from a trip, and he was with people who had a position that he didn't like, strong criticisms towards others, and with a certain level of violence too. And he said to me, we lose the root of Buddhism because love and compassion is at the basis of the teachings. If I'm face to face with someone who has what I consider to be an erroneous view, someone who has a view that is different from mine, I should accept that person even more. I should love that person even more and not oppose forcefully that person and try to hurt them. Also because this is a basic psychology here, Psychology 101. If I don't agree with you and I say that you're horrible, what's your reaction? Oh, you're right. I'm horrible. I want to change. Or your reaction, horrible, me, you are horrible. And then I look for your weak points. And then we just throw shit on each other and we both get dirty. Right? That's the way it is. So, the concept of love and compassion, when we see someone who thinks differently, who has an attitude that we don't agree with, just imagine the most evil person in the world. That person should be destroyed or redirected and accepted. If I ask you, really, if I put myself in the position to destroy, is my desire to destroy, I don't find acceptance, I find defense and then a counterattack. Instead, if I'm faced with someone, and you don't have to look far, just look around you, people who have ideas that you don't share. we don't need to be supportive of bad habits and ideas that we don't agree with, but the person should be accepted and supported and redirected with great patience, where we feel I don't have the power to change you, but I'm here along your path. It doesn't matter how long it takes. I'm here along your path to help you redirect yourself. So for it to be healthy, we shouldn't project an idealized image of how the other person should be. There's an enormous difference between projecting onto you what you should be and then projecting onto you an an um, an idea, an image of what one day would be beautiful for you to become. Is this difference clear? Have you ever said, "Oh, this person shouldn't be like this," or towards our own parents, or own children, or husband, the wife, a partner? But before you weren't like this. We're impermanent. You didn't, maybe you didn't realize. But here, the point is, I'm here like this. So how can I help you to better yourself, to transform, and with love and compassion, there's no frustration, because frustration is not fruit of love or compassion. Frustration is fruit of projecting an idealized image of what the other should be, must be. I don't know if this difference is clear. I love you, and I accept you. I accept the steps that you make. I don't want you to suffer. I would love you not to suffer, but I accompany you along your path according to your time, your needs. And said all of this, we have an enormous problem, which should be the first one to face. We should have been the first one to face. Yeah, I'd like to dedicate a decent amount of time to meditation, but let's look at this a little bit. What's the definition of love? I desire you to be happy. And the definition of compassion, I desire you not to suffer. Okay. But here we are in front of a big, big, big problem. And that, what is happiness? What makes us happy? What generates suffering? Do we all think in the same way about this? If happiness for me is to have a lot of cold beer and watching the soccer game on a big screen TV with friends, and for you happiness is being silent and silently reading a novel or meditating, and I say, I found something similar, not I come to you and I say, look, that day I booked a mountain hut. It's beautiful. The cell phone, there's no internet, there's no electricity. We can finally be quiet. It's so beautiful. We even have to go into the forest and collect wood to make a fire. And the other one says, but it's the World Cup. And instead I booked a huge screen TV, to be together with friends, and bought all the beer. It's in the fridge. And so what do you say to me? You don't love me because you organized something. You organized something for me that I don't want. We have two different ideas of what happiness is. Just to laugh a little bit. Now I'm going to Brazil, and there's a dilemma. The day of Lama Tsongkhapa which is the most important day for the Gelupa in the Gelupa tradition, is actually the end of the World Cup. I organized a retreat with practices, and then more than one person that said, it's the end of the World Cup. How can I go to teachings? And my answer is, you do what you want to do. I'll do the teachings. And then we found a middle ground that the teachings in the afternoon, and then they're at a nearby restaurant. They can go, who wants to can go watch the game. But it's not enough. Getting back to the point before, we need to understand what we understand as happiness and what the others understand as happiness. If happiness is having a lot of money, or in being hedonistic, if I love you, then I'm just going to try to induce physical pleasures onto you. We're not able to love someone else differently from how we love ourselves. I'm not able to desire for you who I love, something different than what I desire for myself. So the first question we should ask ourselves is, what is happiness? Where do I project my happiness? Because if for me happiness is a state of balance and satisfaction and harmony and peace with ourselves and others, and this is what I desire for myself, then what do I want for you? The same. I remember the two people I know, father and son, and there was an enormous conflict for many years. It lasted for years. The father has already passed away. The father was someone who had a difficult life. This is in Brazil. He came from a good family. I don't say that he started from zero, but he put in a tremendous amount of effort to have to have a important career and have a political career as well, which was very different and difficult in Brazil. He was able to help many people, and he earned a lot of money for his family. He was very well. He was great. He was very successful, and his idea of happiness came from challenges, and overcoming challenges and working hard. And his son was a surfer, and his happiness depended on living off of the money that his father made, and to surf and travel with his friends and surf. So the father tried to impose the idea of work on his son. I'm not going to give you money because you need to earn them yourself. And the son would say, you don't love me. You have money to burn. So why do I have to wait for the day that you're no longer here to enjoy them? And what created more conflict between them than anything else, and which I helped them to overcome a little bit, was the fact that each one felt that the other one didn't love them. The son said, you don't love me because you don't see me, you don't give me resources that I need, and you want to push onto me something I don't want. And the father would say, you don't love me because you don't see the love that I have for you. At the end of the day, so much suffering. What I'm giving just very superficial somehow examples, but we can't desire for someone else what we don't first desire. We can't desire for someone else what we first don't desire for ourselves. So first there's the work of going beyond our own view, where we try to really see the other. This is important, but let's remember that I desire for the other what I, first of all, desire for myself. And here we go back to the starting point. What is happiness? What do I want? Because I will love you according to what I see as happiness. So we have to start with ourselves to then be able to love others. And that water that germinates the sprout, that the seed that turns the sprout in that turns the seed into a sprout, that is that love towards self, where we have a clear idea of what we understand as happiness, and we project our happiness. We project our happiness onto something that is sustainable, not something that sooner or later is no longer there. Like the definition of economy, for example. I think apparently there are more modern definitions, but I heard that economy is a science to satisfy the infinite desires of men with the finite resources of the planet. It's the science to make it so that the infinite desires of humans, to satisfy the infinite desires of humans with the finite resources of the planet, because it says that the desires of men is infinite, but this idea that it's possible to satisfy something that's infinite with something finite is crazy. So this definition of economy is telling us that we're trying to fill a hole that can never be filled, that we're trying to satisfy something that cannot be satisfied because it's infinite. So this desire of man shouldn't be stopped or blocked. This desire needs to be redirected. It's a marvelous force. It's important. It shouldn't be blocked or stopped, just like aversion should not be stopped or blocked. Aversion should be redirected. We're made of these two strengths, these forces, attraction and aversion. And if we try to block them, it will not help us at all. They should be directed. The question at the basis is, what do I want and what do I not want? What's at the basis of love for self is understanding what I want. And the basis for compassion for self, what do I want to avoid? There. So when we observe the people around us and the way we relate with them, something interesting to observe about ourselves is how much we project onto them our own way of seeing happiness or suffering. And then we ask ourselves, but what do I want? What do I need? This is not a simple question. And to get there, we should open up the Four Noble Truths, which we're not going to talk about now. But when we said we have a big problem before, I was kidding. I mean, we can say that we love each other, and we can have these feelings of attraction. One person in the middle, and everyone around, and everyone loves this one person. But it could happen that maybe we argue because we want something different for that person. He should dress like this. No, I think he should dress like that. No, the person should be free to choose how he wants to dress. I mean, it could happen that we all want the well-being of this one person or this country, but we try to do, but we do it differently. We think of different ways of doing it. This can happen, can't it? So, and here, just going to say one last thing without getting into a whole different subject. Otherwise, it'll just take up too much time. When we talk about love and compassion, there's a fundamental point. And once it was described to me a little bit differently, and you could even apply it to a basic principle for a good politician, let's say. I was in the monastery in India, in Genlakpala, one of my masters, someone who always worked in the monastery, and there was a particular situation, and he said to me, the first characteristic, the first condition that someone needs to have, and in that case, to be able to serve in the monastery. It can be the same thing for our society, for a country, for a city, to whatever this context is. He said, so the first condition is that that person needs to know how to give priority to the common good more than his own personal good. And in that case, there was someone who was intelligent, knew how to do things well, but put his own needs and priorities, put them above put them above the institution for which he worked. And he said that that is the beginning of a ruinous situation. But if someone is at service of a group, a family, friends, a couple, a country, a city, what's the starting point to find a solution, to act correctly? That the needs of the whole are more important than my own personal needs. And my own personal needs are there too, but first and foremost, we look to the needs of the group. And this is essential. And when we talk about love towards someone else, that same thing brings us to a question that's not easy to answer. It's simple, but it's not easy to answer, which is really, what do I want? Am I attracted to your happiness, or am I attracted to being the one who loves you? Do I want to be the one who loves you? And so I nourish my own ego and identity by loving you? Or do I want you to be happy? I mean, they're probably both, but it's important to have clarity here. Our objective is to be attracted to the happiness of other, and not to be attracted to being the one who helps or who loves, because it's dangerous to generate an idealized images of ourselves as being the kind and loving one, but we really don't care about others, but we try to nourish that conduct, so because we're projecting our identity onto that conduct. Obviously, it's better to nourish one's own ego by being a kind and loving person than being an angry, aggressive person, but we're just making fun of ourselves like this at the end of the day. So the strength that gives meaning to our life, and the strength that pushes us in our life, in mundane and also spiritual, is desire, is love. This desire, that happiness, I mean, love is a kind of desire. What takes us to do everything we need to do is the desire. Where do I project my happiness? So loving oneself, this first starting point is asking ourselves, at the end of the day, what do I want? And if we don't know, we try to ask those who have found the answer. And there are different examples. Those who have declared to have found the answer. And let's try to listen. Buddha said happiness is found into an inner state of balance. There are those who tell us that happiness can be found in great material wealth, or maybe happiness can be found by becoming famous and powerful. Or maybe happiness can be found by trying different substances that alter our minds. We listen, we choose the one that we find consistent with our ideas, and we follow. And if we follow, then we're naturally going to apply this to others. But love and compassion towards ourselves and towards others, these are feelings that can sustain our life, our path, and they give us also a deep feeling of joy and pleasure, because it's beautiful to love, and it's beautiful to be loved, but it's much more beautiful to love. As we said before, when I love you, I interact with you, even with my thoughts or my actions. And with that interaction, we transform. We both do. And it's only beneficial. So let's remember water at the beginning, during, and at the end. So I wanted to put emphasis on this for an important reason. We need to concentrate on the light and not on the darkness. Concentrate on the beauty, on the things that we need to cultivate, and not on what is not going well. Because we live in times where we have this habit of complaining. I don't know if it's at the times in which we live, or is this part of the world, or I mean, looking around, it seems like it's like this. Instead, it's important to put our energy towards what we want, towards love, compassion and love. Cultivate it, show it. It's marvelous. And what's beautiful at the end of the day, and with this I'm going to stop, is that it's not that hard. Loving deeply, sincerely, truly, it's not that difficult. We need to just let go. Let go of this fear that we have to love. This, how can I say, it's almost if someone was afraid to open up one's heart to others, as if we would lose something. When we really open up our heart towards someone, we only gain. We don't lose anything. We don't become more fragile. We become stronger. And I don't know why, but somewhere there's this idea. And let's remember, we need to start with those around us, with our family, with our friends, with our co-workers, those with whom we interact daily. Why is it so hard to look into someone's eyes and say, I love you? In the sense, I want you to be happy. I really, really want it. You don't need to even verbalize it, but feel it. So I invite you to do an exercise once a day, and try it for at least a week. Once a day, choose a situation, someone, just by chance. Try to look at that person in the eyes and say inside, you don't need to verbalize it, I love you. Your happiness is important for me. I deeply desire you to be happy. It could be our waiter, waitress at the restaurant, or a taxi driver, or someone we cross in the road, or someone at work, or in our family. Possibly a different person every day, not always the same, but allow ourselves to look into the eyes of someone and say inside, I love you. Your happiness is important to me. I deeply desire for you to be happy and not suffer. Try it. And then you see at the end if it was good for you, or if it was beneficial or harmful. I think it's very beneficial. It's something that should be cultivated. Um, I've tr- I've I've done this many times, and then what happens is I just it happens that I want to smile. And when you actually start smiling at someone, that person um, generally will smile back at you. Maybe sometimes they say, "What are you smiling about?" But you try it for yourself. Now, let's do briefly the practice of self-healing. It's a meditation practice. We use recitation of mantras, visualizations, mudras. One of the beautiful things about the self-healing practice transmitted by Lama Gangchen Rinpoche is that it can be done in many different ways, long, short, putting more emphasis on one part or another. There, we'll have other chances to go into details, and maybe it's the first time for some, or just the first couple times for some. Maybe the gestures seem difficult or strange. One can just stay quiet. You can just stay quiet and in silence. Maybe focus on one's own breath or stay quiet. Sit in a comfortable position with your back straight, but not tense. Our shoulders are relaxed. Our head is slightly bent forward, with our eyes slightly closed, looking downwards, and our mouth relaxed. We allow ourselves to be present in this present moment. When we inhale, we gather up the tensions accumulated in our body. And when we exhale, we dissolve these tensions. The tensions in our body and also the tensions accumulated in our own minds. Without getting into any kind of judgment, we gather up these tensions. Anxiety, fear, sadness, etc. When we inhale, we gather up these tensions, and when we exhale, we dissolve these tensions, bringing us to a deeper state of relaxation. visualize our body like a body of light. We have a central channel, 2 side channels, and 5 main energy points, so-called chakras, at our crown, at our throat, our heart, at 3 fingers under our navel, and at the bases of our spinal cord, that so-called secret chakra. In the space in front of us, Guru Buddha arises in the aspect of our own Guru, or Buddha Shakyamuni. Guru Buddha is seated on a beautiful throne, on a lotus flower and a sun and a moon cushion. His legs are crossed. The right hand in the mudra of teaching the Dharma, and the left in the mudra of meditation. And Guru Buddha smiles at us, and his 5 chakras, there are the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, the embodiment of our own qualities developed to their the maximum potential. We ask for the blessings of Guru Buddha to develop our own qualities gradually, so that we can help every being get out of his own suffering. We desire profoundly to develop wisdom, satisfaction, love, generosity, the power of realization, joy. Light rays and nectar emanate from the 5 chakras of Guru Buddha in white, red, blue, yellow, and green in color, absorbing into our respective chakras, bringing us blessings and revitalizing our own qualities. We purify then our body and mind with the purification of the elements, and we generate ourselves in a pure state, and we develop our qualities in the 5 chakras, from lotus flowers to becoming to the 5 Dhyani Buddhas.
Locho sampo pagyo trashi pa tuche tempe trinle yarngoda pege drolor zampe zeparache pande lame shabla solwade Omo a guru vajradara sumatimo nishasane karma Uta vardani shri bhadra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Om Guru Vajradhara Sumatimo Nishasane Karma Uta Vardani Shri Bhad Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhara Sumatimo Nishasane Karma Uta Vardani Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Om Guru Buddha Siddhi Hum 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 Yama Ram Lam Bam Ho Shude Shude Svoha Om Swabhava Shuddha Sarva Dharma Swabhava Shuddha Pamle Pema Changu, Pamle Pema Changu, Pamle Pema Serpo, Pamle Pema Serpo, Pamle Pema Ngompo, Pamle Pema Ngompo, Pamle pema marpo, pamle pema marpo, pamle pema carpo, pamle pema carpo. Om Ahong Tamari. Rile natso dorje chango re tramle norbo serpo tram hunle dorje ngombo hong ale pema marpo a omle korlo karpo om korlo nanse dorje a pema che dorje Hun dorje mikyo dorje, tram norbo rinchun dorje, ri natso dorje tuyun dorje. Lama tuyun dorje kin.
At our secret chakra, with the blessings of the Supreme Healer Amoghasiddhi, green in color, we purify all negativities related to our secret chakra, especially our fear, our envy, jealousy, uncertainty, and all the sicknesses that are related to the secret chakra. We purify them in the form of green garudas and black dirt and smoke. We receive all the blessings of the Supreme Healer Amoghasiddhi in the form of light and nectar that fills up our body and brings us his blessings, revitalizing our qualities. We develop the power of realization, the certainty in every action, rejoicing the happiness for the happiness of others, and all accomplishing wisdom and the pure factor of pure factor of
Amoghasiddhi Hong, Om Amoghasiddhi Hong, Om Amoghasiddhi Hong, Om Amoghasiddhi Hong.
Compositional factors.
Al chakra dell'ombelico.
At our navel chakra, with the blessings of Supreme Healer Guru Buddha Ratna Sambhava, yellow in color, with the mudra of supreme generosity, we eliminate all negativity related to the navel chakra, especially all of our arrogance, our miserliness, and all sicknesses that are related to the navel chakra. They are completely eliminated in the form of dark yellow horses and black dirt and smoke. We receive all the blessings of the Supreme Healer Guru Buddha Ratna Sambhava in the form of light and nectar yellow in color. They fill up our body and bring us their blessings, revitalize our qualities. We develop humbleness, generosity, the generosity to give materially, to give love, to give protection, and to give the Dharma, the spiritual path.
Omo Aratna Sambhava Hong, Omo Aratna Sambhava Hong, Om Aratna Sambhava Hong, Om Aratna Sambhava Hong, Om Aratna Sambhava Hong. Lama Michel Rinpoche.
At our heart chakra, with the blessings of Supreme Healer Guru Buddha Akshavya, blue in color with the mudra of touching the earth. We purify all negativities of our heart chakra, especially we eliminate the anger, nervousness, resentment, anger, hate, anxiety, impatience, sadness, depression, and all the sicknesses that are related to our heart chakra. They're purified, eliminated in the form of dark blue snakes, black smoke, and dirt. We receive all the blessings of Supreme Healer Guru Buddha Akshobhya in the form of blue light and nectar. It fills up our body and blesses us, revitalizes our qualities. We develop love, compassion, patience, inner stability, spontaneous joy.
Akshobhya Hum Om Akshobhya Hum Om Akshobhya Hum Om Akshobhya Om Akshobhya Hum Lama Chodorjikin.
At our throat chakra, with the blessings of Supreme Healer Guru Buddha Amitabha, red in color, and with the mudra of meditative concentration, we eliminate all negativities related to our throat chakra, especially attachment, unlimited attachment, unlimited desire, dissatisfaction, the lack of concentration, distraction, violent speech, and all sicknesses related to the throat chakra. They're completely eliminated in the form of dark red hands, black smoke, dark smoke, and dirt. We receive all the blessings of Supreme Healer Guru Buddha Amitabha in the form of red light and nectar that fill up our body. They bless us, revitalizing our qualities. We develop satisfaction, concentration, holy speech, and correct discernment.
Omo Amitabahum Omo Amitabahum Om Amitabahum Omo Amitabahum Omo Amitabahum Lama Nangze Dorjekin.
At our crown chakra, with the blessings of Supreme Healer Guru Buddha Verochana, white in color with the mudra of wisdom, we eliminate all negativities related to our crown chakra, especially ignorance, erroneous view of ourselves and of phenomena, the lack of inner space, and all sicknesses related to the crown chakra. We eliminate them in the form of black pigs, dark smoke, and dirt. We receive all the blessings of the Supreme Healer Guru Buddha Verochana in the form of white light and nectar that fill up our body, revitalizing our qualities, developing wisdom, a correct view of reality, of ourselves, of all phenomena, infinite inner space. Om.
Vairochana Hum Om Vairochana Hum Om chana hum. Om Aveiro chana hum. Om Aveiro chana hum.
In an instant, we arise in the aspect of Vajradhara, a pure being, with our qualities developed to their maximum potential. With the mantra of Om Mani Padme Hum, we generate balance between this energy of attraction and aversion, masculine and feminine energies, generating a deep feeling of bliss in harmony with every phenomenon, realizing the ultimate nature of phenomenon.
Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Mahasukha 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 Hum. Om Vishwa Shanti 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 Hum. Per il potere,
For the power of truth, peace and bliss forever.
Kyabso chi rangni lase dodri songne chu donga chu sonir chu tadat Gecho kundu chi shin rodun che dorna ditsu namkara Te nyurdu da norbu panzo shamba larke Lame lamge rimba tarchin sho Om Om Michi we tse ma tong wa na te ime la mi kyo do se wa tong ne chi da pa chom te chi me rik signor do to para sho ni modele tsendele ni me kuyan de kshin Nien sentato delekpe concho sum ki chingilo. Rashishon.
At dawn or at dusk, at night or midday, may the three jewels grant us their blessings. May they help us to achieve all realizations and sprinkle the path of our lives with various signs of auspiciousness. I'd like to dedicate today, especially to a friend. Joacir was his name, from the Brazil Dharma Center, who left his body yesterday. Someone who was very close, who did a lot for the center in Brazil, and he had a sickness, and he left his body, let's say, probably sooner than the people had expected. Just briefly, I'd like to recite this mantra dedicated to Joacir.
Mani pe me hum, o 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 Vageshwar. Vageshwari Mum, O Vageshwari Mum, O Vageshwari Mum, Om Vajrapani Hum, Om Vajrapani Hum, Om Vajrapani Hum, Om Vajrapani Hum, Om Maritse Mama Soha, Om Maritse Mam Soha, Om Maritse Mam Soha, Om Maritse Mama Soha.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week. Next Wednesday, I'm here. And as Rinpoche would say, see you sometimes, see you every moment. Thank you, everyone.